Benjamin, I brought the rosé in here if you bring a glass. Benjamin is in love with Suzanne, so he's taking his time.
Fair.
And who can blame him?
She's ironing. It's very like calming.
Yeah.
Like Sunday evening ironing.
Yeah. If you think about ironing too hard, you know what semantic satiation is? When you hear a word over and over again, or you say a word over and over and it loses its meaning.
Uh-huh.
Like if you do that with the act of ironing, it just becomes like making stuff flat, 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 flat. All right.
Have you ever worked on any sort of like assembly line type thing? Because when I worked at like at a big like industrial bakery, we would have like a bunch of just like dough balls come out, and then we would have to like put them into like hot dog pans to make them into like hot dog shapes.
Okay.
And if you do that long enough, it is possible to like forget you're alive. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That was a cool job.
I was super
I was
dissociated.
also really high at
Oh,
the
that
job
helps,
all
yeah.
the time.
I was super dissociated when I washed dishes for Reginelli's Pizza. Right after Katrina, it was like slammed every second that it was open because it was the only restaurant in Lakeview that was open after Katrina.
I feel like I try to dissociate constantly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, why would you be in this reality? It's
the
really
dankest.
awful and
Yeah.
stupid, and everyone else makes decisions that are wrong. So,
Yeah. TV
employee.
with manual task that requires nothing from your brain is like the perfect dissociative combination.
Yeah.
I also I don't know if you've heard of video games, but like if I am pissed about something and I don't want to be pissed anymore, I'll just play video games for an hour and like I will be completely reset. I don't know why. It's not a healthy, because sometimes I'm sad and then it's just for like days, and then trying to wait that out by playing video games, you don't get enough.
I was so
sleep.
confused. I don't understand the first thing about video games. I've never played one. But I was following, there's this like crossover of like communist video game Twitter. And I found like a funny tweet. You know when you just go down a wormhole?
Man, if you can't find your people these days, dude, you suck. Because there's a specific communist video game.
Not that I'm a communist or play video games, but I just stumbled upon that. And I saw a lot of screenshots from video games. And I didn't know that like the characters in video games are actors sometimes. Like Kevin Spacey was in a video game.
Oh yeah, big budget ones. They get like
they do voiceover work a lot.
That's so weird. So anyway, I mean, I guess they regret Kevin Spacey now, or maybe they don't care. But
I mean, the video game industry does not care about Me Too shit.
Yeah.
They're just because their audience is people who don't care about Me Too shit.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize they were actors.
Sometimes they'll like. There will be like a Ghostbusters like backlash to like women protagonists in video games. It's extremely funny to watch them piss themselves.
Yeah. Anyway, have you ever played video games, Kate?
I think I've only ever played video games that appeared in the movie The Wizard.
Is that the one where he has the power glove?
Yes.
Oh hell.
Jenny Lewis is in it.
Every time I don't know a pop culture reference, I just look over to Jeff and he's like nodding or shaking his head.
Yeah, that was the reveal of Super Mario 3.
No shit.
Was that movie?
That's such good marketing. I didn't know that they had crossovers before the Avengers.
Yeah, we've been getting poisoned for generations.
Yeah. So who's our guest? Let's intro our guest.
Oh, you're looking at me. This is Cate Root, who we've given a shout out to on every episode.
Literally every episode, yeah.
Pretty much. Cate Root, DSA New Orleans superhero, and just a friend of ours.
Hello, thank you. It's
Also,
good
you
to be
do
here.
other stuff.
I
What do you
do.
do at Current Affairs exactly?
I like answer emails, and then sometimes
It seems like you just sort of
I stand
babysit
over Nathan.
Yeah.
yeah, I come over there with a list of like, hi, just sign these 3 checks. I'll fill them out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
I realized immediately, like during the interview, I was like, "Oh, if I wanted to steal all your money, I could."
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, "Yes, absolutely."
that's what happens to like boxers. Like their promoters like, hey, sign this thing that says something that you want, and this thing that says all of your money is now mine.
The thing is, I don't care about money.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, I like to get paid a decent. Although that's like my lowest paid
Yeah.
job. I do it a little bit just because it's fun to go over and
Semi bono.
Yeah, like
Chub bono.
Chub bono?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I like it, man.
I knew you would. Yeah. Okay. So
I make sure the magazines go out. When people email me, I can tell them when their magazine got sent to the printer. It's all very exhilarating.
Sonny Bono is when you think you're doing well and then you crash.
oh, dude, that's not good. So you can't. That's your aesthetic colleague. You can't. Your sartorial colleague, Sonny Bono.
Because of the mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't he like a right-wing politician?
He was a Republican.
Awesome. I'm glad he crashed into a tree while skiing or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't like to speak ill of the dead.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
that's okay.
For my 30th birthday, which just happened, Susanna got me two things.
Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you. I missed you at the party. I wanted you to be there to hold my hand while I felt bad about myself. But,
we all did a compliment circle. We'll get to it in a
dude,
second.
oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
It was, I know, worst nightmare.
I had just gotten so high, and then I had to think of a compliment, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone was like really sincere.
Yeah. That was, anyway, but so we'll get to the compliment circle momentarily, or hopefully never, because I don't want to relive it. But so two birthday gifts from Susanna. One, she was like, I wanted to get you like one thing that's like you're 30 now, like have nice things, and then one thing that pertains to your interests. So she got me a subscription to Current Affairs, the print issue or the print version, and she got me a Doomsday Prepper's Handbook. She's like, you're always talking about how the world's gonna die and we're all gonna die and have to eat each other. So,
I don't see you doing well.
Kate's actually talked
exactly.
about.
That's why I'm getting the book.
You published was it a tiny letter about how you don't? It was really beautiful about.
About like not being a prepper because so I say this, but like last night my friend who's also a socialist was like, hey, have I told you about my commune idea? So like
Yeah.
there is a little bit of save other people.
Because it's pessimistic and it's like giving up.
Well, yeah, and also like we can win.
Yeah.
We can win universal health care and college for all. Like these are winnable battles, and we've just
No, yeah, I mean it does take like a belief that it's possible to keep going.
Right.
If you don't have that in you, like you're fucked.
And also, what's the point of surviving if like I don't know? I don't want to survive in a doomsday situation, but
oh.
Yeah,
I'm not going to garden.
I mean,
I'm not going to be a good
I've never been.
if I'm on the commune, I'm doing emotional labor. Like that's
Yeah.
mostly my contribution.
I've never had a.
But also, a commune sounds like a hopeful way of planning for doomsday. You know
No, it's
what I
like
mean?
Yeah,
we'll learn
yeah.
how to. Other people will garden.
Right.
We'll all
and-
sleep with each other's spouses.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I hope it's the apocalypse soon.
Oh, what is it? Oh, did the bombs drop? I guess we're locked in here.
Sorry, Jeff. Jeff's in the room.
I'm pro surviving the apocalypse only because I've never had a computer that could run PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is a battle royale, and so I gotta live it,
Yeah.
in high def.
Wait, what was the tiny letter though?
Oh, I wrote about how we should try to like actually save each other. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
I don't remember. I don't remember
there's
anything
like a disgusting
ever.
hopelessness with it. It's the same thing with all the like fucking tech billionaires being like,
Yeah.
there's like an island, like a really small island off the coast of New
Or
Zealand.
like just like
that-
bunkers in
Yeah.
Kansas.
Why don't we make the whole world out of the black box? Kind of like bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
those prisons will come in handy. They're very fortified.
Yeah.
Yeah, your writing is very, very good.
Maybe
even
the real
though-
prison is the world.
I wrote about being infuriated today because
Oh,
I
you
woke
did?
up and I found out that one of my friends.
You could have just ended it after because I woke up.
Yeah, one of my friends just got diagnosed with breast cancer,
fuck.
and then I was telling my other friend that on the phone, and she was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're in health disclosures. Another friend of ours had a stroke recently, and the friend who had a stroke has like a newborn baby.
Oh my god.
She's like 36,
Jesus.
and it's just like, it's so much pointless pain, especially again, not the tragedy itself, the fact that like. That I found out that my friend has cancer because there's a GoFundMe for $10,000
Right.
so that, and that's even like a person with health insurance, but just that like won't be able to work and support her daughter.
Oh my
And,
God.
You know, like, I mean, it's very basic stuff.
I wonder if the GoFundMe people lobby against universal health care because they get a cut
I'm
of
sure they
the
do.
GoFundMe shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making money off of
Yeah, it seems like they would.
health. Yeah.
That's a big part of their business.
Yeah.
I wonder if just all the money people raise on GoFundMe for health shit, if we just put that towards some sort of like health system, how much of a dent that would put towards
Yeah, or just like
an NHS type thing.
Can we go back to yachts for just 1 second?
Yes, please.
It seems extremely random to me that like the number one class marker for rich people, the number one like status marker for rich people is I got a real big boat. It's just like it's like I have a very large basketball. I have the biggest basketball. You can't dunk it in anything.
Right.
You know,
It's
I don't
very
know.
pointless.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's so dumb.
I think you're underestimating how good it would feel to be on a yacht.
I do like being on the water. And that's
I've
true.
been on my friend when I was in middle school. Her family, like, I don't know if it was theirs, but we were on a yacht, not like a Betsy DeVos $40 billion yacht, but like a boat that is technically a yacht that you sail. Like, because it was there's a Southern Yacht Club.
Right.
That's where my friend got married. And you.
Can you be Jewish there yet?
Probably. I don't know.
All right. Anyway, go on.
And so I went, and her grandmother, who was horrible and kept on referring to John Kerry as Jim Carrey, talking about how much she hated him. Anyway, I have horrible
might have
emotions.
meant Jim Carrey too.
No, she meant John Kerry. She was like, she had
As
on
shitty
a,
as John Kerry was, he didn't like kill his girlfriend, so.
Yeah.
Wait, did he do that?
Wait, Jim Carrey killed his girlfriend?
He didn't like. I don't know the full story.
Did Jim
but-
Carrey kill his girlfriend, or did The Mask kill his girlfriend?
I mean,
Anyway, I threw
He
up on a
probably-
yacht. That's it. I threw up. I have motion sickness, and I immediately got on and threw up, and I felt horrible. And the Republican lady got mad at me. So
That makes sense. See, the thing is like the reason why yachts make sense is because they're mastery over something that is completely
It's a power.
unmasterable.
unmasterable.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I cannot be on a boat. I can't be on a still boat. I can't. Even when we were kayaking, I was like, I hate this.
oh really? You seem like you're having a good time.
I get anxiety, like, because I get motion sickness when I'm like on a large thing, but like I can't be on like a swing set because it gives me anxiety. I just like to go. Anyway,
I have this thing where like if I do something where it's possible there's a very small chance that I will die. It's not that I'm like worried that I'm gonna die. It's worried that I'm gonna feel really stupid right before I die. Where I was like, I knew I shouldn't have fucking gone on the boat.
Right.
Boats are on water. Water is where you drown. If I don't go on the boat, it's impossible for me to drown. So it's just like as I'm like gurgling my last gurgle, just being like,
This is all my fault.
I did this to myself.
I pretty much always feel good if I'm in danger. That's my like favorite thing.
Boats are
It's-
so
It's
dumb.
very dumb.
That is
I'm
some
probably
American
gonna,
Psycho shit right
I'm
there.
gonna die in a very stupid way.
I
most
love
likely.
being in the water. I love being in a body of water. I love being in the ocean. I fucking love that shit. I love swimming, but I like having control over, like, even though I know I have no control, I like my body being immersed. I hate being on top of the water, almost in water. I'm like an all or nothing person. Also, I hate fishing.
Wait, so do you hate having your head above water and
Yeah,
everything?
I only go in the water if I can
If
drown.
I'm completely submerged and do not surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I like to like feel it. I like to be, yeah.
It's like, yeah. It's like The Awakening, but really dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That's my feminism.
I think I'm only afraid of the things that I was very dumbly afraid of as a kid. Like I saw Us recently,
Oh, dude.
and that is exactly the way that I would be afraid as a child. Like the
Can
same
we
way
just
that I
wait,
like.
Have we all seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I think everyone. I don't care. You guys can talk about it.
I mean, it's the same way that honestly, I'll just say like watching the recently I like thought about Get Out. I just like thought about the scene where he's like, I really need those keys, Rose, and like I like
Yeah.
freaked myself out just like lying in my bed thinking about something
Yes,
that happened to
yes.
someone else.
Yes, I
and
do
like
that.
that to me is what I'm afraid of. It's not usually a thing with me necessarily in
In a
it.
specific situation.
No, it's just like, oh god, I hope
do
there's
that
no one behind the shower
when I'm home
curtain.
alone. I think of like what I would do in a horror movie about myself.
Yeah.
Which is bad to do. Like the other day, I was running to the car because I got super high. It was 2 days after I'd seen Us. Jeff was at Catastrophe, which is a show that starts at 10:30. I'm doing quoting marks, but it really starts at
Quoting marks.
Quoting marks, but it really starts at
The
like
next week.
midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was out until all hours, and I had to go get my weed out of my car. I was already high because I had eaten food, but I was like, oh, I need more weed. So anyway, I was so scared to leave. I was like, I'm not going to lock the door as I run. And then, so I was like, that's stupid. But I was imagining someone for the like 10 seconds I was at my car slipping in the door, and I was just imagining like hearing, like in a horror movie they would show like the door closing and like a creepy hand, and then they would see me like sort of register a sound and then come in and then be fine for 30 minutes and then I would get murdered.
Most people, when they imagine themselves in a movie, it's like a rom-com or a dramedy, perhaps.
No, I'm like walking between like cars in parking spots, and I'm like, ugh, hope someone doesn't reach out and grab my ankle.
Yeah. Also, I'm a slutty alcoholic, so I'd get killed first. There's no way that they wouldn't kill me off immediately.
I definitely, for someone who is 4'6" and 82 pounds, I have way too much like I wish a motherfucker would. Like, when I like think about like that kind of stuff.
See,
like,
not me.
A home invasion, I know exactly where all the knives are in my house, and I like know I imagine fucking kung fu moves I can't do. For sure.
Oh no, I would just be like, please kill me fast. Like,
No, yeah, I'm not afraid of an actual home invasion. I'm afraid of like ghosts and like
Same.
yeah, like I'm afraid of
a monster.
supernatural. Like yeah, that's.
I just imagine the scariest monster possible, and I'm like, what if that monster just showed up in front of me?
Yeah.
Because like, who's to say that's never happened?
Which is why Us is so terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's the monster with this very like cliche normalcy to how it acts out.
I know,
you know what I mean?
know.
Like the
And the way
scissors that are like the
feral kids. I love how the feral white people were so much more feral than black people.
Dude, I mean, it sounds so dumb in that movie to specifically like highlight the performance of like the white dude in it, but Tim Heidecker was the perfect casting for that.
Oh no, he was great. It was
Because like his tethered dude acting like such a drunk, like cocky idiot, but still creepy was so fucking perfect.
and his dumbass slut daughters being like the dumbest feral, like scariest, big mouthed. It was really, really good. That whole family was so awful that you were like, really, it was fun. It's always good to be happy when someone's murdered in a movie. And I loved, like, that movie was also so funny. The jokes that they had in it were really, really funny. Like when they were all just like sitting there, and Winston Duke, like, she's like, we have to get on the run, and he's like, can we just stay at this like luxurious house surrounded by dead bodies, please? I really don't want to keep running. Like, he's just such a
or just like, Dad, nobody wants your boat.
yeah. Oh my god, that was so funny.
well, also like as like. I mean, we could just talk about that movie the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do it. But
No,
like,
some
it
people are gonna
was so
listen if they're
perfect.
gonna watch it.
I don't think we've given away any
No,
real
yeah, I don't
plot
think so.
points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like his casting was so perfect because like he's such a like normally that is the hero of the film. It's like the big strong patriarch. And like he thinks he's that throughout the whole fucking movie and he's so not that and it's so perfect.
I know.
And like he played it so well cuz he played it as a guy who like believes in himself for no reason.
Right. Oh, he's so cute though. He's such a. Oh man, when he's like trying to seduce her, and she's like,
Just by like arching his dick.
yeah,
like,
and you
into
just
the-
see his balls under his boxers. I mean, I would have fucked him, but
Yeah.
but not if I were his wife.
Yeah, you do deserve to die in a horror movie.
What would the voiceover for a horror movie about Mary Devon be like the trailer? Like, Mary Devon is a loose woman with too many opinions.
They wouldn't even like introduce her. She would be the nameless like person who gets murdered immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
The Drew Barrymore.
What color are the guys in Star Trek that always, is it the red ones?
The red shirts.
The red shirts, yeah.
Jeff's nodding.
It's really useful. He's like a barometer.
Yeah.
You know, or like one of those. I have nothing. I'm gonna cut that.
It is weird having you over there because normally we would just, if there's like any sort of lag in the conversation, be like, so how is Jeff a bitch?
Oh man, I got him. We had like a really good dinner last night, and he didn't realize I was recording him, and I started recording him on Instagram right when he said, "You know what it is? None of this interferes with my allergies." It was delicious. Have you eaten it, Gabrielle?
once over the summer. I thought it was really good. I went for my friend Laura's birthday. I would go back.
It was awesome. Gabrielle is the friend who I was at the Southern Yacht Club with when we were in middle school. She also hated that grandmother. Not hated. She was sad when she died. But, like, I don't think she was like, yeah, I want to grow up and be like her. But she's the restaurant manager there, and it's named after her. But she gave us a free awesome bottle of wine.
So, like, in a perfect, like, leftist future, do we still have yachts and we just, like, share the yachts? Because I feel like...
Yeah.
You don't... But then it's... I love sharing. Whatever. But the whole point of a yacht is to not share the yacht.
No, but you
right?
don't. You can do like timeshare. Also, don't forget that different people.
Timeshare. That's actually
Like,
yes.
people
timeshare
don't like
yachts.
all the same. Like, I am not a beach person because I don't like direct sunlight. So, like,
Yeah, you're very... I don't know if you know what Cate looks like, but she's the pinkest woman.
yeah.
You're
So,
very
like,
freckled.
I enjoy vistas. I don't know. I'm going to Grand Isle with Elron Mexico and some other people.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
that sounds
dude,
really
that sounds
fun.
awesome.
Okay, can I invite myself? To
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
I'm
there's
inviting
room in
myself.
I wanna go to Grand Isle.
in the
Grand Isle's tight.
But you
Someone
gotta
told me it
hustle up
smelled
a
like
ride for
shit,
both of us.
and it doesn't smell. Like I went there and it was like
Maybe a
great.
different part of it does. Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, they were like, it's gonna smell like shit.
Yes, thank you.
It was someone from here too. I forget who it was, but
Was it Lane?
it might have been.
But they're all gonna go
It
birding.
doesn't seem like he would avoid smells. Or no, actually, never mind. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Are you kidding? Lane's like the cleanest little dirtbag we know. He's actually not even a dirtbag.
He's
like, only
infested
drinks
with
kombucha.
roaches somehow, though.
Yeah, and now we're infested with roaches. It's more on brand for us, but he brought the roaches into our home for sure.
He lives with you?
No, he did for a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, heartbreak. Who brought the roaches?
Yeah, and when Lane lived with us, he would only eat... Lane Laniaw is a comedian who's been on the show before, and he would only eat from the grocery store pre-made food. So our whole refrigerator was full of styrofoam containers because he never like asked to use the Tupperware to like consolidate it. It was just like large styrofoam containers full of like catfish.
He just like Bart Simpson wardrobed his diet.
Yeah.
When you said only made pre-made food, like I just imagined you meant frozen food, like which is what a slightly more normal person would do.
No.
I used
No,
to do
he was
that.
like, too much prep. I'm going to just buy
I can't microwave something for 3.5 minutes.
I'm going to spend restaurant prices on something that'll go bad in 2 days
Yeah.
and is very bulky.
I don't-
Actually, pre-made food at grocery stores is pretty affordable.
I don't know the context for this, but I will say that I used to eat the exact same thing every single day.
Frozen or not
A
frozen?
lot of frozen shit. So it would
That's
be
not that bad.
3
Whatever,
egg-
yeah, you're a Soylent boy.
Yeah, right.
You don't like food.
I don't like having to. If I'm like absorbed in something, I don't like having to get up. Right, like if it were more socially acceptable to have like a catheter, I would have one.
Wow.
Yeah, I just like
Wow.
I get really like
I am the opposite.
hyper focused on shit. Like, but anyway, so it was. It's so gross. So it was 3 eggs, a blueberry bagel with peanut butter. That was breakfast.
That sounds good.
The eggs had sriracha on them, and then I would have 2 frozen burritos, and an apple cinnamon donut for lunch.
That sounds good.
like patio frozen burritos.
It was like Evol, like the
Okay.
the high end stuff.
Okay.
And then I would have a personal sized DiGiorno pizza.
That's gross.
And about
Dude,
half a
evil
gallon.
frozen burritos are like you're being a piece of shit in 2 different ways
I know.
at the same time.
I know.
You're like somehow like bougie and trashy.
yeah, you spelled evil wrong, man.
Yeah, my trash food is very trash. It's like
Evian is just
Lunchables?
naive
Yeah, I
backwards.
love Lunchables.
like fucking like just yeah. like-
Lunchables is all you need. Like, I ate a kid's Lunchable because she left
John
her...
Lennon said that.
Yep. No, a kid left her lunchbox at school, and I went in it to find out whose it was because it said her name. And then she had a full Lunchable, and it was like a classic. It was just like the cheese and
Yeah.
the crackers. It was delicious.
The weird processed meat.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, meat that like bounces.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Good meat.
Yeah,
Bounces.
Yeah,
yeah.
bounces.
If
you drop it, you get it right back.
someone should make breast implants made of whatever that. It's got a good texture to it. You know?
Man.
I agree.
I don't think I'd ever get
wouldn't
breast
be-
implants, but I think I'm leaning more towards plastic surgery one day. I'm like getting more vain, and I know women who I
What would you get?
Like, what would you get?
facelift.
Okay, question: have you had other surgeries?
No.
So I feel like that's a thing to know, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've had other surgeries. Just like I was a complicated baby, I think. I had like tubes in my ears. I had to get my tonsils out. I needed braces. I needed glasses. Like I just was a complicated.
You're like the Audi of a baby.
Yeah. So like if my only point is that if you like haven't had surgery,
you don't know how horrible and grueling it is.
Yeah. So like maybe if you end up having children, then you'll be able to like weigh that decision by knowing like, oh, I remember hating this or like this is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, like, I used to be morally against it, but then...
Fuck that.
I know. Well, I think that it's still fine. Like, there are certain people that I think... If you're at a point where you feel like you're failing as a person because you don't look a certain way, that's not good. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that your motivation to get surgery should ever be that you don't feel like a complete person without it. But, like, if you could afford to, like, I never want that fucking, this thing, that gullet thing that you get, that women get. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want that.
I think everybody gets that. But no,
I guess men do too. I just don't care.
But especially grandmas. That's such a grandma thing.
Yeah,
it's like having the like
neck.
Extra skin on your neck.
I mean, eventually we all become dust. Like there's gonna.
I know, but I think it's
a losing battle.
Yeah, but I think that it's not like you're trying to convince people that you're young. It's just like I still want to look like an old person, but I think that like that's something for me that would bother me. Like I don't mind wrinkles on my face. I don't mind gray hair. I don't mind gaining weight.
Yeah.
But, like, that thing, I think everyone has their thing that they're, like, afraid of with aging, and I think it is the saggy-ass neck.
My dad got a nose job. Because there's something so elegant.
Yeah.
Mine's balding.
When he was, like, 14 or 15 or whatever.
Oh, well, good. You've already conquered that.
Because back in the day, it was just, like, acceptable. It was just, like, you expected for, like, middle-class Jews in, like, the, like, late 50s, early 60s. To get a nose job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you would just look less Jewish.
God damn, that's
and like
fucked
pass.
Up.
But he still definitely didn't pass. It was like the complaining and
it's like the Jewish version of those skin bleaching regimens in like Ebony or whatever. Like those they still run some fucked up ads in black directed magazines and shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Plus, I like a big schnoz. I
love a big schnoz. My mom,
which that shouldn't be the like marker of it. Is like I personally like this feature or not. But like whatever, fucking.
Yeah,
it
I
is
would never
weird.
get a nose job. Also, they have to break your fucking nose. Ugh.
Yeah, I think they pull the rest of it out.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
It's just like having surgery is like getting hit by a truck. Like, I mean, it's a lot of trauma to your body.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, you, like, lose hair. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Like, not necessarily immediately, but, like...
So by the time I'm, like, 60 or 70, if I even fucking live...
Well, and if there's still plastic surgery that is available to the common people.
Right, right. Who knows what it'll be like.
It's only on yachts that you can get that.
Hopefully there will be no yachts.
Yeah.
Just plastic surgery, floating islands that people gotta go to.
I can see that work.
I've also never had like a spare. How much does it cost? Like $5,000, $10,000 to just
10.
Yeah, I feel like I would never have that for like a cosmetic.
Dude, I haven't been to the dentist as an adult.
Yeah.
So not to worry about that. Also, I'm a perfect physical specimen.
I need about $1,000 worth of cavities filled. I learned that 2 years ago, and I still haven't done shit about it. I mean, they're like minor, and like it was just like nip it in the bud shit, but I didn't nip it in the bud, so I'm probably gonna like
get a second opinion at least. I feel like girl.
Actually, my original dentist, who I fucking loved and who retired, was notorious for being like, it's fine. Like he would spot a cavity and be like, yeah, your tooth it's not rotting out of your head, so I think it's fine. Like we'll get you next time. Like he was the only dentist I've ever met who was not like about that paper, I guess.
No, my dentist is like that here. She's at CBD Dental Care, Stephanie Phillips. I love her.
No offense to my cousin who's a dentist.
I don't get a lot of shame for my like. I could say I probably don't floss as well.
I don't floss.
I do a bit. I have one of the easy reach flossers.
Dude,
you know what I mean? But the ones where, like, but they want you to be.
My mouth is too small.
They want you to be that little asshole because you can get a better angle.
Oh yeah.
With like the free form.
I believe that it's better.
But yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Kate, do you want this? Okay.
It's got to be funny for people who don't live in New Orleans to hear everyone talk about like the CBD all the time. Like CBD is like just the trend to put in everything.
I'm really mad
like
about
snake oil or whatever.
CBD. I'm really mad about it in New Orleans. I'm really mad about it. I'm really mad that there are all these fancy, hip CBD stores. I'm really mad that there's a place on St. Claude. I don't even know what it sells, but it's called Good Dope.
Yep.
I'm
What?
really mad that there are 2 vape shops on St. Claude, within spitting. Like, I'm really mad. Someone told me a story about.
Is it because people are still in jail for?
Yes.
weed?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Forever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like,
For ridiculous sentences.
Like, even if weed wasn't basically legal for white people, like the fact that now it's a double legal, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just that, like.
Yeah, decriminalization without amnesty is fucked the fuck up.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, did you see that thing that apparently in the Twin Cities,
The Minnesota, I was just about to talk about this. The vouchers. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about this in our next DSA meeting, which will happen before the podcast comes out. But people should still come to DSA meetings.
When is it happening?
Tomorrow night.
When does the podcast come out?
This episode is coming out next week.
Oh, next week.
We got Laura for.
But we have them every month. But we're going to talk about, because we've been doing the break light clinics for
And
over
also,
a
if you
year.
are interested, and fuck it, you should be, wherever you are, there's probably the events listed.
Yeah.
Like your local
DSA
DSA, like their website has
I'm
everything.
still
Ours
being
does.
like very excited from meeting a bunch of DSA people from different chapters and hearing about their different things.
In Texas?
Yeah, but it's just so awesome. Also, like, I think Caitlin texted me recently that like a bunch of people have thanked her for giving them that brake light manual that we put together after doing our brake light clinics for more than a year. And it's awesome that like more than 55 other organizations have put on their own brake light clinics. Like, people still are like, oh, really? That started here? And I'm like, yes, that started here. It's just like an idea that someone had. And now,
Also, I'm going to irresponsibly put this out right now, but I'm totally going to make it so there's a day this year where every chapter that wants to be involved with it does it all on the same day, and it's going to be cool as fuck.
That's gonna be awesome.
But the Twin Cities thing with the vouchers.
yeah, so the vouchers, it's again at the officer's discretion that instead of giving someone a ticket for having a brake light out, they can give them a voucher for like to get a free brake light, I think, from
cool.
like an auto store. So, but we're going to talk about that in our meeting, that we're like continuing to discuss the like history of mutual aid and dual power actions, and especially how they relate to like essentially an organizing model versus a advocacy or philanthropy model. So,
Right.
like, because that's like what happened with like the Black Panthers free breakfast, right? It was a threat to the government co-opted it, and then the government means tested it.
Right.
And like could hollow out that program. So what would happen if, for example, New Orleans PD decided to take on that same policy, the voucher thing? Well, that's still just one entity. We still have like Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, Louisiana State Police.
Right. Yeah, and like mutual aid insulates a program from. Oh shit! I completely lost my train of thought. Go on. Sorry.
Just that any quote unquote solution we have would be piecemeal, like the marijuana situation in
Right.
Louisiana right now, where it is essentially entirely legal for white people, and there are still people who are doing multi-year sentences for it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I guess like a little bit of clarification on this like voucher program is that like it is probably in response to the brake light clinics happening that originated here and that are in over 55 other places. But in the Twin Cities, if they pull someone over, like it is completely at the cop's discretion.
Yes.
Which is potentially even worse.
Yeah.
I guess there are
But-
like ways you could debate that, but potentially even worse than just having one standard.
I don't think that the option to give the voucher is any worse than them ticketing everyone.
Maybe not.
But,
Maybe not, but-
I think that I can still see why it's bad, because it's still putting the power in the hands of police, and it's still giving them the decision to. Maybe you're right though,
And
because
it's one of those things where it's like putting like a shiny sort of like positive spin on something without really like tackling like the
root cause, which is
of
like,
the
why are
thing.
we fining people for being poor or busy
And, like,
poor and busy?
It's like that classic neoliberal solution of like putting like a pretty face on on something
like
and like a
pinkwashing shit,
charitable
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like a charitable solution to something rather than like just
eliminating it.
Well, and it's just to
turning
neutralize the
turning the thing
threat
off.
of people organizing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, it
Yeah.
is specifically
DSA,
because, like, oh, this is a thing that is making people organize. We will try to stop that.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's so directed.
Yeah. The explosion
And
of
also,
DSA
like, good
membership
luck,
has like
finding like there are so many fucking problems. Like we're creative enough to figure out other ways to do it. So
Yeah.
like if that's actually what they're trying to do, like good fucking luck. But like yeah, it's that is absolutely their intention.
Yeah, I mean, like the DS, like the stuff like the Brake Light Clinic. God, what is wrong with my fucking brain today? Hold on, just give me a second. Stuff like the Brake Light Clinic brings DSA, like brings like socialist existence into like mainstream discourse because it's like it's awesome. It's like an awesome program, and like that is a threat to major institutions, including the police. And so they're just like, oh, like what if we did that so that to take kind of some of the spotlight off of it, and then maybe they'll stop doing it, and because they like won or whatever, and then we can gut the program.
Or fewer people will want to join them because then they'll be able to think like, oh, these people they're just activists with nothing better to do. Like it's more about preventing more recruitment, right? Like they see that it's drawing people in.
Right.
And that's the real threat is the growth of it.
Yeah, I mean, and like DSA is probably the most like structured threat to neoliberal power in like recent history, and I think people would be naive to think that there aren't like interests that are like trying to fuck it over.
What specifically do you mean by neoliberal power?
I mean, just like the general political order of the last like 30, 40 years.
Every illionaire in office.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough.
Like since like the
here's what I'll say. I don't know enough to counter that, but I just feel like I'm just assuming that there were other successful political movements that I just don't know about, but I could be very wrong.
I mean, I think since the 80s, it's like pretty measurable.
Yeah, Occupy was kind of a disaster.
There haven't been, and like it's been pretty like
Not on a national scale.
I mean, yeah, they murdered all the Black Panthers.
Yeah. And
Not all of them, but enough of them.
And
Yeah,
that
you're
was
right.
before that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, and
That's why
But that's what I mean. Like
that's
that
the
was
point, yeah.
that was the most ascendant
Oh, yeah.
political party with the ability to
the Black
change
Panthers
America's.
and then like SDS and its internal breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like a measurable, like organized, structured power that was like fighting it. SDS kind of ate itself, but part of that was because of agent provocateurs like making it happen.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to convince Martin Luther King to kill himself, and his message was not take all the money from the rich people. I mean, partially,
Eventually,
but
it
eventually,
was.
but they still tried to convince him. Like how could you not believe that? Like people who advocate for the redistribution of wealth are sabotaged at every turn.
They don't want 100 more AOCs.
Right.
Damn.
And they're coming too.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in the pipes.
They know that there's at least 100 people that are as like qualified and passionate and well-spoken, like that could potentially like run in different state houses or like in local positions that could gain political prominence and like continue this message. It would be insane naivete to say that like there isn't some sort of like structured backlash towards this, like on the books somewhere.
Totally.
Yeah,
I mean that sounds paranoid.
It's
but
buffered by the fact that we're so white.
All this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, like it is buffered by the fact that we're so white.
Totally
like,
right.
and that is also why, like, I mean, yeah, the Black Panthers were also again they were cool.
Yeah.
They were cool in the way that like Beyonce used their look in her Super Bowl show.
Right.
Like they were iconically cool. Like
that's some good ass neoliberalism right there.
There's this great like back and forth letter correspondence
Appropriating the Black Panther stuff. Go.
Oh, between Abby Hoffman and Stokely Carmichael before Stokely changed his name. And one of the like funniest exchanges was them both like agreeing that like him, like Stokely, like at his press conferences, like having revolutionary imagery behind him and dressing like sharper was one of the smartest things he ever did, because it just looks like more inviting. It looks cooler, and like aesthetically they nailed it.
I mean, that's the whole. You go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say something about what you kind of said very, very briefly, but you go.
I was just gonna say that I mean, that's the ascendancy of the alt-right is just a bunch of like neckbeards who shaved their neckbeard and got a good haircut. Like it is.
Yeah.
And that was,
I don't know. Those are my cousins. I mean, like, not literally, but like,
Yeah.
I have joked about this. But like, I feel like I see these people, like the kid who heckled the native elder in Washington D.C. That
Yeah.
kid
Nathan
looked like one of my
Sandman.
cousins, and then. This is not the same, but the Billy Fire Festival dude looks like another one of my cousins.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
but like, it is just one of those things that like I see these guys, and yes, that is I did leave Kansas City because I didn't like being around groups of people that were all wearing the same outfit. Like, I found that disturbing. I don't like being in groups of people where statistically they're more blonde than like natural. Like, I find it untrustworthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like to that point, like that's one of the reasons Jordan Peterson has ascended to the level that he has. Was he
Clean
was
your
like,
room, daddy.
Yeah, clean your room, daddy. Like told all these like fucking absolute.
I'm
like,
so glad I barely know who that man
Yeah.
is.
I was like, Jordan Peele, he's awesome.
Yeah, I know, love him. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's
Man.
brilliant.
dude, if only he could just
Yeah, he
Jordan
rules.
Peterson.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Jordan Peterson. I know he is.
Kean Peterson.
That's actually the funniest part about working for Current Affairs is that like I have it's like they live in a whole different universe than me.
They're responding to arguments that you
I'm like-
weren't encountering in the first place.
Never.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Like, I don't know who Ben Shapiro is. I don't
ContraPoints
know-
is like that too, where it's like I didn't even know people had this dog shit opinion, but you're owning them. Yeah.
Yeah, like I appreciate it, but it's just so funny to me, especially like
Current Affairs is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say recently. So she's not on the Current Affairs board anymore because now she's working for Bernie. But Brianna Jo
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
was like talking about being out with someone who like didn't even know who Kamala Harris was, and she was like, "Oh my God, normies are so amazing." And I had this moment where I was like, "Okay, I love you, but I also like to me, you guys are the normies."
Yeah.
Because I'm just like a weirdo who wants to like not live in this exact world and
Right.
float in a
Right. I
other
talk to
plane
you
forever.
more than I talk to like my family about politics.
Benjamin.
Benjamin,
Wine.
there's another wine in the
I got
fridge.
you.
Thank you.
MD just clapped once, said Benjamin, and then she said
Very
wine.
I worked.
offense to it.
I know.
Y'all are.
I worked.
I was like, he's running away and he doesn't know.
He doesn't see that the wine is almost gone.
You should know.
I'm also like, I literally can't.
Do you really think that I wasn't gonna get more?
I know. I just.
So I have an illness where I refill my
apologize.
glass before it's empty because
yeah.
I have anxiety.
Yeah.
So like, and it sometimes happens with other people. Like if we were at a bar and your drink had like a half an inch,
He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
excuse me,
I would
bartender.
be like, can I get you another wine? Can I get you another wine right now? Like,
Oh wow!
Like,
Because
it
empty
makes-
glasses give you anxiety.
They do.
Yeah.
I refill my glass at home before it's empty.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I did that, I'd die in one night.
I blame my dad.
I have to. I drink so fast that I like have to keep track of how fast I drink, or I'll drink like 2 bottles of wine, and extremely easily.
Yeah.
And I will be hungover. I'm still not so much of an alcoholic that I'm not hungover after 2 bottles of wine. It's a horrible hangover.
Do you pay attention to?
But I
what, like
drink
what
so
what do you do
fast.
with your eating around the wine?
Interesting that you asked. I space out my eating very strategically. I eat constantly, and so like I'll usually be like, okay, as my reward for only drinking 1 bottle of wine, I'm going to eat half a block of like drunken goat cheese or something like
Yeah.
that. And I'll do like I'll make sure that if I have something like, well, I also still smoke.
Yeah.
So I just like smoke a lot.
See, I think that you should give yourself like 1 carby snack and 1 more proteiny snack.
I do cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
Like a butter cracker.
But like I think that if you have 2 bottles of wine, that's fine, but you should just have a snack before and after.
See, on a school night, I need more than like, because the problem is that I get to a point, if I could, and I've realized this, if I never get past the bottle of wine marker, then my brain still works. So I'm like tipsy, but not so drunk that I'm like, I never need to go to bed. What is tomorrow? I'm going to, because like I get to a point where I, 1, love alcohol way more, and 2, don't have good judgment.
You want to keep pressing the lever.
But if I like force myself in the beginning to only drink 1 drink an hour, then I can make a bottle of wine last 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm tired. But like I just gotta pace it. You just can't, because it tastes delicious to me, and I'd knock them back. And so if I was ashamed, if I had anxiety around empty glasses, I feel like I drink so much faster even than now. Because even like when I'm pounding it, I usually give myself like 3 to 10 minutes with like an empty glass before I refill it. Because I like drink so fast.
I've been alternating drink and then bitters and soda to slow down, because so much of it for me is, I mean, this is everyone feels this way. It's like having something to do with my hands in a social situation, and like.
See, no, at home. Social situations, I'm fucked. But like at home, like I'm like, oh no, I'm definitely gonna get too drunk in social situations. But like at home, it's the couch, that like the comfort of that like couch oblivion, where you're just like, I got my wine, I'm on the couch, the day's over, and then you go too hard, and then the next day's horrible. I
don't super love drinking like on the couch or in bed, because I won't be able, like, I don't enjoy it nearly as much if I don't notice it happening, and I'm less likely to notice it if I'm not moving.
Yeah.
Also, this isn't helpful, but a lot of your hangover is the smoking.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I do need to quit smoking.
I'm not even telling you that. I'm just saying that, like, that's probably the reason why I'm like, 2 bottles of wine, who cares?
Right,
because I don't smoke cigarettes, so I'm like...
Yeah.
And you used to smoke cigarettes, so you know what you're talking about.
10 years. I'm more...
Yeah, I smoked so far I'm at... Wait, how old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, cool. You're Jeff's age. I'm 30, and my hangovers...
I'm 50.
It really is true that your hangovers, once you hit 30, get so much worse pretty much immediately. For me, it was the end of 29, too. Like, the last half of the year when I was 29, I was like, oh, I want to die now.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to quit, but, like, quitting smoking would...
Drastically,
70%, I bet.
Wow.
I quit
my liver will fall out of my ass.
I love how you found a way to turn that into a negative.
It's like when your transmission falls out of your car.
Sorry, Michael, how many days ago did you quit cigarettes?
1,624.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
I don't know how many years that is, because I can't divide by 3-digit numbers, but...
Yeah, me either.
I also don't care. But it's like,
but
this is how
how do you know? You count every single day?
He has a tracker.
This is how I quit in the first place. I mean, I just still have it on my phone because I still have it on my phone. But the way I quit in the first place was
fucking nerd. Dude.
Was okay. Shut the fuck up. This might help a smoker.
I also used a counting app.
Yeah.
But it was the counting app used by the terrible man that I was quitting smoking so I could stop talking to. So it was really more to get away from him. But I did use the app he recommended.
What worked for me was I have this thing that tracks how many days you've quit, and then like every time I smoked, I would reset it, and that felt bad. It felt bad to reset the timer, and so every time I wanted to smoke, I would look at the timer and be like, oh, let's see if I can go another day. So that's also how the sobriety apps work, I think. But
I'm the kind of person who I can't have any like outside discipline to help me do anything. I can't structure anything based on like a calendar or an agenda,
and no one can convince you to do anything.
Set any goals or have any like apps or whatever, because I'll just say fuck that. So I have to either genuinely just do it from me, or like that's not gonna happen.
I genuinely did it from me because I was like. Yeah. The way that I am right now, where I'm like coughing and gross from being sick for a week, I would feel that more often just like on a regular morning. Yeah. And I didn't. That's bad. Like, that was a bad way for me to wake up, especially as a person who's like, you know, I'm already like prone to like depression and not really caring about the world. I don't need to wake up feeling physically bad.
Yeah.
I'm already like.
You're already at dog shit. So,
I mean, like, not like, but like, I'm like, I am very like. I don't know. I
don't think you're dog shit. No, I think you understand the realistic dog shit that is reality.
Yeah, I mean, it just is. Although I do want to stay alive. That's like my goal, is to stay alive. And I would like that other people who are around me that I mostly think are very good to also stay alive. That's like why I make art.
I kind of feel like
I agree.
I know this is the dumbest thing anyone's ever said, but everyone in my family smoked till they were so old and stayed alive so long.
You think you're immune?
I think I can just smoke as much as I want, which
Yeah,
is the dumbest shit I've ever said. Also, they were like respectable members of like, you know, social spheres. So like they didn't chain smoke like I do. Like I'll smoke like a pack in 5 hours if I'm drinking at a bar out with people. But at home I'll smoke like 10. At home I'll smoke like 10 a day. I'll smoke a whole pack if I'm out. So anyway, they didn't smoke like I do, but like my grandmother, everyone thinks she doesn't smoke, but whenever I visit her, like everyone thinks she quit years ago, and she's always like, "Give me your cigarettes," and then we smoke inside. Now she lives in a nursing home, so we can't. But we used to do that, and everyone just thought that she didn't smoke, and I was like, "I've been smoking with Brenda the entire time." Yeah.
I'll start again if I live to 80 or so. I just like would, and I've talked to other people who've quit smoking, and like their ability to like do little shit or not, you know what I mean? Like some people will occasionally have a puff off someone else's cigarette, or will smoke a spliff or whatever. Like I split a cigarette with my friend the day she was like her going away party. She was moving to Arkansas. So I like split a cigarette with her, and I didn't feel a need to like reset my app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I smoked a spliff 2 Mardi Gras ago.
Yeah,
you know?
like I don't count
That's
that.
different
Spliffs
because
don't count.
No,
I
they
try
don't
and
count.
avoid
I'm a hard
spliffs.
believer in spliffs don't count, but I'm not allowed to buy my own tobacco.
I agree.
Exactly.
But spliffs don't count.
I also
Jeff's over there reading The Stranger.
He's reading.
And not the magazine.
Jeff hates books. This is so funny.
dude.
La Strange.
Yeah, he's, you know, when the podcast is over, he's gonna be.
My mom
This is
died
awesome.
today,
I just
or
have to
was it
hide his phone
yesterday?
and
I
he'll
can't
read.
remember. He's over there fucking doing that.
This is so funny. I like this has nothing to do with this except for the fact that I ordered. Wait, what did I order? Nausea? Is that Camus?
Yeah.
I ordered that online one night when I was high, and I was like, I got to read more books, and I'm like, I'm going to start with something I definitely can't understand. And then I ordered it on Amazon. I know I'm a bad person. We still use Amazon.
No, me too.
Wait, what?
No, it's just cool because it's supposed
Individual
to make you
decisions.
feel like shit.
We
No,
already
with
talked about.
Amazon, it kind of does matter.
Wait,
I
so
think.
I want to tell you a story related to that, which is that my friend Scott, that I went to high school with, after we graduated, he decided that he hadn't read enough in high school. So much like you, but like the first book he picked was like Clockwork Orange, which was also very difficult.
Very high school, though.
And then after that, to give himself a break, he went to Hatchet. Do you guys know Hatchet?
Yeah. That's like
It's
the
like
book
for
that gets
sixth
teens
graders.
into reading. Yeah. Or yeah.
It's like
yeah.
I mean, like it's like a book about a young man who crashes in a plane and swims to the bottom of a lake and grabs like a
survive.
box with like a hatchet and you know what I mean?
In like Alaska or something. It's
I mean, it's not Minnesota, but like
It's
love
like
that
reading
book.
It'd be like
The
reading The
Giver.
Giver,
yeah.
dude, Minnesota kids fucking loved Hatchet because we were all like, I've been cold and I could survive. I've seen a buffalo.
Yeah, the thing that you were talking about, how like you can't have any sort of external pressure to do anything. I also have that, and it's why I almost failed out of college, because like I always say that like if you took the 10 books that I'm most excited to read and put them on a syllabus, I would immediately say you're not my dad and like throw it in the trash. And like since college I've read all the books on the syllabi, but I didn't read fucking
So
anything in
I
college.
think I'm gonna call bullshit on you, maybe.
Okay.
You went to Iowa, right?
Uh-huh.
For grad school, right?
Yeah.
In grad school, were you like, fuck you, you're not my dad?
Absolutely.
Still?
Absolutely. I blew
See, I
deadlines
read
left and right.
everything in grad school.
Yeah. No, I fucking suck.
I'd never read anything in my life before. I had like faked every test I'd ever had, and in grad school was the one time that I
didn't do none of the reading. I did more of the reading in grad school, but I definitely.
Okay, well, tell me you read your classmates' manuscripts.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, I did anything.
But like for like the literature classes,
Yeah.
You're saying you didn't necessarily. I
will
might not have read
do
Henry James. He's
I
a
will
piece of
do
shit.
like anything if like
like
it
a
involved.
psychologist?
I will never fuck over another person. I will happily fuck over myself. Like that was like group projects. I was awesome at because like other people were relying on me. But fucking as soon as the only
follow up and see
consequences.
if he was actually awesome at group projects.
What's that? Did we have a class together?
No, I was joking. I was
Okay.
just like I was saying I was going to follow up, even though I'm
Yeah,
obviously
no.
not going to do that because I don't know if people went to grad
Even
school.
peak depression, I could do group projects because I like to regulate the emotions of people around me, so I don't want people to be mad at me. And like that But as soon as
I didn't pick that up until I was a grown up.
really,
Yeah, how to care if people
damn.
like,
I'm so
especially like, I mean,
jealous.
like everyone, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I always cared whether people I liked me, but the general like go along, get along, don't be a dick thing, I think I was about 25 or so.
I've always cared so much. And there are some people who really don't like me that I know that I've never had a conflict with, and I'm just like, what is it? Like,
yeah, no, I can't stand it.
Because I hate some people, and I'm like, I just hate them, and they could do the best thing in the world, and I'd still hate them, and I'm not going to try to ruin their life.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything to me. I'm just going to ignore them forever.
Yeah.
And when people are like that to me, it is horrific. But I also am like, I get it. I just nag you in a certain way.
Yeah.
But I just want to know what it is.
Yeah.
If it's like the sound of my voice or some sort of like perceived affectation, then I feel like I could deal with it, because that's the reason that I hate some people, and I'm like, it's probably all in my head.
Yeah. During the compliment circle, when Brittany was like, we dated for a month, and then I thought you were a douchebag for 5 years, and now I love you. I was just like, no. Like, even though I
It
knew,
was so awkward, and I was
Dude.
laughing my ass
Dude,
off.
it was
I was
so
like,
awkward.
Wait, that was her compliment?
yeah.
It was.
And then after that, I kind of made fun of you with a similar
but it
vein.
was very sweet.
But also, he rejected me, so my thing was less. It was critical of myself more than you.
Yeah. And I'm sorry I made you specify that it was sexually rejected, but I didn't want people to think that I had
You were like,
been an
as a
asshole to you.
human,
Yeah.
And then someone was like, did you reject him as a person? Or no, did he
That was
reject
me.
you
I said, as a friend.
As a friend? And
Yeah.
I was like, no, not as a friend, sexually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big pop on that one. Yeah. Fuck, dude. Yeah. So
Yeah, I've always cared if people liked me, but I've always been extremely good at getting them to.
Yeah.
So it's not really a problem.
I'm pretty good at
But
getting
it's-
people to like me, but I might not care about getting them to like me.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do it, you're like, wait, I don't even like you.
A little.
No?
I mean, like, well, so obviously there are situations where situationally you want people to like you. Mm-hmm. Like, it's important to me that the people who I work for like me. Mm-hmm. That they think that I am helpful and a good person to be around, because it's important to me to be like employable, so that I don't like just.
You seem like you'd be a great coworker.
Yeah.
I try to be, but I'm also kind of a bitch, because I have a very, very strong commitment to my inner.
Kind of a bitch is a good
Compass.
coworker because it makes you feel like you can be a bitch at work.
Yeah, I just.
I mean that.
Definitely. You need
Like,
allies
you need,
in that shit.
And even if you're against me, if you're doing something that's vocally like kind of like not socially great, I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad we're doing that.
So I am a good coworker for people who are looking for actual worker solidarity.
Yeah.
Because like,
Right.
I will be honest about what I make, what I know that other people make, what I think is normal.
No, totally.
Like,
I tell everyone my salary.
That's very-
The janitor and I compared salaries because he's like the head janitor, so he's
Yeah.
central staff, and like we and then everyone talked about their salaries.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotta do
So
that.
like that's a way that like, but like if you are someone who your worth at work maybe comes from the way that you physically present yourself. And like, you know, having like a soft tone of voice and wearing the right makeup and the right jewelry and those things, like you might not like this like clomp-footed bitch who just walks around.
Oh no, well, no, but they're the bad coworkers. You're the good coworker.
That's what I think, but again, you can't judge.
I know.
Man,
I guess-
I love to be a clump-footed bitch.
yeah, exactly. That's what you want in a workplace.
You always know when I'm coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When I'm like on the street and I'm like walking past someone and I say, because I'll go, excuse me, and like that very much, like get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
And people always do, but yeah, I definitely have that thing where I'm also like, fuck you that you couldn't hear me. Like I am like a large woman, like walking with purpose fast down a street, like.
Making your way downtown, walking fast.
Yeah, like you can hear me coming. I'm sorry. Like I've had people like turn around before because they're like worried, and then they see it's me and they're like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
she's white, it's fine." But like,
Wait, this is just because you said that. Did y'all see that thing of Michelle Branch in her car making fun of Michelle Branch when Michelle Branch came on the radio in her car?
No.
It made me love her. And, you know, just anyone who...
Any celebrity who knows their one famous song was bad. Ah, perfect.
I mean, I feel
What
like
a curse.
I
What
feel
a
like
fucking
most
curse.
people. I feel like most musicians hate what, no matter how good they are or how famous they are, they always hate their earlier shit if it's early enough. Like very few people are like, those were my genius days, because no one wants to feel like those days are behind them. So they have to produce this narrative that's like, even though everyone thinks that rules, it sucked, and like what I'm actually doing rules. And I'm thinking of Rivers Cuomo
But
making
that's-
those
Or like,
dog shit
but that's
records.
because they have to
Nas
constantly-
hasn't done anything good, like as good as
Oh, yeah.
he did
They-
when he was 19.
They have to still interact with it in
Yeah.
a way that you don't.
Yeah.
Like if you're a writer or a visual artist or something, like someone can think that like, oh, I like their last book better, but they're not gonna fucking tell you that at a reading. Like,
Yeah, but
you get to still do your shit
yeah.
in a way that like if you're out there like playing for people, you don't really. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You get more of that like feedback.
Dude, having to play your hit 20 years later as your closer 300 nights a year sounds like a living hell. That's
I
what-
just want to hit.
yeah. All right. Well,
That sounds cool enough.
we'll start working on that.
I think I, at this point, have integrity, but if there was anything that, like, challenged it, I would no longer have integrity.
Was
yeah.
that someone driving by?
Yep.
Oh, I thought that was coming through
are
all
there-
our headphones.
People also walk through walk by like listening to music on their phone speakers all the fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it could have been like someone on their bike or something. That happens a lot.
I like it.
This is the neighborhood of people who think that their phone speakers are fine and not horrible.
I've done that before, but I've been very drunk.
Yeah.
And it was like I'm sure within weeks of a new Beyonce album coming out, like I wasn't being that awful. Definitely in the same summer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys, when you were like very small, when you were little kids, did you just want to be famous no matter what it was that you were famous
I imagine
Wow.
being interviewed, and I still do.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever really, really wanted to be famous.
No, I really did want to be like a fucking princess, but like because I just really wanted to not have to do fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be unaccountable and fine.
You just wanted to
Which is
never
still
have
what
a
I
job.
want.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's perfect.
Yeah, there's no real responsibility.
Jobs should be illegal. I agree. Yeah. I wanted to be a paleontologist, and then I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and then I wanted to be a physicist. I wanted to be on like the cutting edge of some sort of like STEMmy shit for a long time, and then I took one creative writing class, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
everything else is worse than this.
Yeah,
But-
you're definitely a writer.
So I've been thinking about this. So I'm making these tiny books, like, but I'm not selling them because I don't give a shit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So this is also part of like my thing of like, I'm a socialist. I talk to people about economic justice all the time.
So should I be paid for this? And like
Yes, like
yeah, you
I
should be.
generally. Well, okay. So I make about $25 an hour regularly. Most people that I interact with, I think probably in different poetry and art communities, don't make that.
Yeah, especially if they're adjuncting.
So I don't want them to pay for it.
Right.
If they have any money at all that they appreciate it with, I like
Right.
put a note in this of like, if you're at the Dragonfly, tip the Dragonfly. Like
Yeah.
if you're at Dogfish, tip Dogfish. It's
But
not
do you
going.
think that? But like also not. I feel like it's so hard because not charging for art also establishes that like art should be free.
Well, in my socialism, art would probably be free because.
Right, and the thing that the thing. Okay,
But I also pay people.
I have so much thoughts on this. Okay.
So I pay people.
So much thought.
To me, it
So
also
shut
literally
the fuck
comes
up,
from
Mike.
like my own knowledge of my own what I get paid, and it being fine. Like I'm not worried about my future with my wages.
Yeah.
Currently, we'll see what happens when this episode comes out. But I've been pretty careful. But like I don't care. Like I think that actually, yeah, zines. Like who cares? Like that's why they're zines. That's why I made them like tiny.
because
Like,
they're right.
because I don't want to make like
Because you're
beautiful,
not doing
perfect
it
bound
right.
books. Like,
Exactly. You're
it's-
doing something for the joy
it
of
feels
doing
more
it.
DIY,
Right.
And like a lot of times, yeah, like
there should be
zines
a
could be
like-
like share. Like that's the thing that happens is people like share. So like to me, it's more about
It's just a different animal.
I'm sharing them with the space,
Right.
and I want the space to share them.
And
with
also,
whoever
no
they
one
have.
no one thinks that books should be free right now. Everyone's used to paying for books.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. Like,
And
I
it's
think
also
that,
again, they're
But you're
tiny.
putting this through the lens of comedy, which is like a similar thing, especially in New Orleans.
But I also have so many opinions about like who should like. Okay, I think that under socialism, if everyone had a universal basic income standard of like high quality
You have
of life,
shelter,
healthcare,
food,
exactly.
like,
Everyone has all their needs
leisure
met.
time.
Then, because right now the problem is not that not everyone's getting paid for comedy at all. That's
Yeah.
not the problem. Also, if you're doing a show that no one's making any money for, they're not exploiting you. If you're doing a show where someone's making money off of you by charging a cover and you're not receiving an adequate percentage of that, they're exploiting
Well,
you.
so that's also the difference, right? Because I run this show Dogfish for like 4 years with my friends.
Right.
You want to just plug the details of that really quick?
Yeah,
There's
so
people listening
Dogfish
in New
is
Orleans.
every one Thursday a month. The next one's going to happen on April 18th, and it's with New Orleans Poetry Festival. We're going to host the opening night. I'm super excited. It's Leanne Brown, Oliver Baez Bendorf, Chen Chen, and Hank Rosu. I don't know how to say his name, but he's from South Africa. I'm really excited for that. But we have never charged anything at the door. We put out tip jars every time. Mm-hmm. Usually we get back about half of whatever we spend on food and booze because
Dogfish?
yeah. I mean, we've never made a profit ever. It's all just paying for food and booze, but that's also because like it's a party and we want people to come.
Right.
And, we want it to
And
be
y'all are
fun.
doing it because you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense for me to make these books, put them out at Dogfish. Me say, throw money in the tip jar if you're there. Like I'd like thought about it at length and put like a thing of like if you really like my work, like you can read more of it at kateroot.online.
Yeah.
You can Tiny Letter, you can Twitter, you can Facebook, you can Patreon. I don't care though. Like I don't care. It's not about that. It's about like I want people to read my work, and if they feel something about it, I want them to keep reading it. But also, all things considered, like in capitalism, like the daily job that I do is fine, and it works well for me, and I have a lot of class privilege
So
that
you
I'm
don't
able,
need, right.
especially like as a person who struggles with their own like mental health and like. You know, like the most that I get is sometimes a reprimand of like, Kate, you've had a lot of late clock-ins. And I'm like, yes, I get like literally like paralyzed sitting in the chair next to my bed, like waiting to leave the house. Like,
Yeah.
and it's cyclical and it's whatever it is. It's
Right,
not
right.
a thing that I want to explain or talk to anyone about,
Right.
you know, but the fact that I have the class privilege to earn a good living doing something that I'm good at and then still having
The time.
all of this mental space and time to do the things that I care about
Yeah.
more than anything, like it's
Yeah.
a gift.
And like a socialist,
No one has to give me $5
In a
dollars
socialist
for
utopia,
anything.
it would be leveled out.
in a socialist utopia, it wouldn't be like some people made art all day. It would be like everyone fucking worked a little bit.
Right.
And
Everyone would make
did
art.
their shit.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is that right now people's response to artists don't make money is every artist, even if they suck ass, and a lot of people suck ass at comedy, and a lot of women
Here
suck ass at
comes-
comedy.
dude.
So a lot of women will be like, "Pay me, I'm a woman in comedy," and it's like, "Well, you suck at comedy, so fuck you." And I mean, fuck men more. Everyone who knows me knows I hate men so much more than I hate any. Like, I hate men. I hate men so much. I just also hate a lot of individual women. But I like hate men as a group.
Yeah.
But like I think that there's so many women who are afraid to just be like, no, some women are not good at art. And I'm like, no, some women aren't. And like that's one thing. But also everyone who's like and a lot of these people are actually funny, which is what puts a fucking kink in my theory. Like, because it's not just people that suck. A lot of people who are actually funny, who I wish got paid for comedy, don't get paid, but it's just because there's so many, like, first of all, this does suck. People with more money who have the ability to just do comedy constantly, who have connections, who like are able to basically pay their way, even if they have some talent, into success. And then the rest of the 95% of people are just people who don't have enough time and who luck out or don't luck out.
Right.
But the answer to that is not pay everyone who decides that they can tell a fucking dick joke or a joke about their mom. The answer is that, like, we should all have
Or a
our
dick
basic
joke about
needs,
their mom.
our basic needs met, so that we, like, can all just do whatever we want and, like, let it be an actual meritocracy, because no one's, like, paying their way into it.
We can all get our basic needs met and go back to what should be the natural, which is just that all the hot people get the most money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I am so for this.
The reason in this hypothetical, the reason everyone gets their needs met is because everyone is contributing
Right, exactly,
labor.
right.
Like, it's not like socialism isn't anti-labor. It is evenly distributed labor.
But
Also,
no one has to work
it's
60
mutual
hours
aid.
a week, or
Right.
even has to be forced into a job where they work 40 hours a week, but it's all at night, so they can't even do comedy. Because, like, some of the best comedians never get to do comedy because they work at night. So they don't even... God, imagine how good, like... I mean, Avery Moore, like, would be... Like, she's already so amazing and couldn't get any better, so I don't even know what I'm saying, but, like...
If she didn't have to bartend or whatever she
Yeah,
does at night.
like,
yeah.
it's just like... Imagine all these people that are objectively the best comedians in the scene that have
Yeah,
to
like
work night jobs.
Kamari, Cassidy.
Yeah, Kamari, Cassidy, like so many people. It's just, it's fucked up.
Yeah,
People should have
Xander's
control.
hellish.
Xander's so funny too.
Yeah.
Xander Billick. He has
Yeah.
to be a bartender, and I mean, he likes it and he's good at it.
But the hours that he works are just.
But also,
inhumane.
if profit wasn't the motive, then like it would be fine, because you'd be able to hire enough people that you wouldn't have to have anyone working every Friday, every Saturday. Like, people would get to, like, switch off. The best places I've worked have been places where it's like, oh, we have so many employees. This is why I like working at a school, because it is still for a profit, because the New Orleans charter school system's fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's not the same for a profit as, like, working at a store where, like, the main goal is profit. So they're like, they care about making people's schedules good, because the people making schedules good care about their schedules being good. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Like, it's like...
I happen to work at like a restaurant, which is just sort of a capitalist enterprise, where they also understand that dynamic and put it into place, which is so rare, but it does just help if everybody
It helps so much.
is like rested and like...
You work at the best place.
I do work at the best place. If somehow I ever
It
figure
just like
out
makes
some
you
weird
feel
shit,
like it makes you feel, even as like a customer, like walking in there, like you feel like everything's okay. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, and like the owner of the place had set it up that way and put a lot of thought into it, and like it shows through. But
they
that's
would
the thing,
survive under socialism, is what I'm saying. They could still exist
they would probably do better.
Yeah.
because people want to be there. 'Cause it's good.
and they wouldn't have to compete with people who are grinding their employees into the dust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
No,
great.
Pulp and Grind closed.
What's that?
Pulp and Grind was in the CBD, and it's owned by the same people that own Satsuma, and they got a little bit of news attention when they had a big
Fired
staff walkout. Yeah, because they fired the woman who had managed the store for many years. And I talked to her. I only talked to her once, but I talked to her because she was wearing a Broadway Cafe T-shirt, which was a cafe in Kansas City. She was from Kansas City. I'm also from Kansas City. But Broadway Cafe was famous for running off a Starbucks. Like, it was like a long-term cafe in like a cool neighborhood with like bars and restaurants and cafes and stuff. And yeah, a Starbucks moved in next door, and then they fucking moved out after a while. And
Baller.
yeah, so anyway, so that was the one they canned, and then they had a big staff walkout, but they closed recently. I'm always on the lookout for New Orleans restaurants that close, because I mean, one, you always have to think like how many people got fucked over by this.
Right.
Like, truly, like how many people didn't get a paycheck or
Right.
are waiting for money.
That's so fucked up.
Like, is this a person that owns 4 restaurants? Is this a person that owns one place? Did their rent get raised? Do they own the building? Like, all these
Yeah.
questions that I feel like are really hidden from the conversations we actually have about like the food and restaurant and dining scene in New Orleans and all that stuff.
This
Very
reminds me
bad
of a joke that I'm not going to say right now, but remind me to say it once we're off mic.
I'm a very bad person, and if I like a restaurant or a coffee shop or something, I just don't want to know the fucking labor politics behind it, because inevitably they're dog shit. Like inevitably there's nothing within walking distance that is not dog shit. I don't know. It's
I think it's possible to find out, though. I mean, like, it's a small enough town where, like, you can
ask an employee.
Yeah,
easy peasy.
I like the fact that at my friend's restaurant, I feel like I hate like the idea of a work family, but like they don't have super high turnover. Yeah. Like we went 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago, probably 2 years ago when they opened. How long ago was it that we went to Gabrielle's the first time?
It was August of last year.
Okay. So it was over a year, and we had the same waiter, and like a lot of the staff is still the same.
So
and the bar and anyway, it's like cool because it's like, okay, I know what they get paid because my friend tells me, and they're not afraid to hide it. They're also not like super necessarily. They're not like fucking DSA people.
Maybe they're just all in the sunken place. You don't know.
But I think that like I can tell. I like being in a place, since we do exist under like a bad system. It's nice to be in a place where you're like, this is not bad. Yeah.
I felt that. So I live in the French Quarter now, and I lived there. So I've lived in the same place from 2015 to 2019, and I also lived on the exact same corner, but in a different place from 2007 to 2009. Mm-hmm. And my neighborhood bar, it's the same bartender.
It's great.
For 12.
What bar? Molly's?
Cosmos.
Best fucking cheese fries, and
they do have the best cheese fries.
Oh my god!
I think actually they have the second best of all time fries in all of New Orleans. I like Siberia's like slightly more with the dill and shit, but like
you mean fucking McDonald's fries?
Yes, I don't give a shit.
They're good.
Give a shit. Really McDonald's fries are the best fries, and if they're not fried at McDonald's, all the fucking better.
No,
dude, wait.
Cosmos cheese fries are amazing. I want to talk about our story with them.
Shit or whatever. Yeah. I so wish I didn't believe this. But Dat Dog's fries are so good.
Fuck Dat Dog.
I hate that place. It's a horrible place, but their fries are so good.
Good. I won't. I was gonna bleep them out because they shouldn't get a mention. But the food poisoning thing is good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't go there.
Yeah.
Steal their fries from.
We don't want to. We don't want to like Ben Shapiro Dat Dog, where like we talk about them like. And expose people to the idea of them.
I'm happy to mention Cosmos, but like, and also because any of the 200 people listening to this, like, just don't blow up the spot on a weeknight. It's fine.
Thanks for saying 200.
We have 200 subscribers. We have about 100 listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else just has us on their phone, and they're just like, I'm not going to listen.
They're missing out.
Oh, that's very sweet.
You know why, though? Because I don't like podcast. I mean, I've started embracing them not because I love them, but because I feel so behind on reality.
Have you considered it's because we're all your friend?
No, but I listen to others too. I started listening to others too. I also listen to this. I listen to this one because you're my friend, but also like the Kyle one.
Oh, that was so good.
That was really, really, really good.
That man has
the
some
Michael
good
one was fantastic.
Yeah.
Michael from DSA.
That's so good.
No, there have been really, really good ones.
Good. Okay.
No,
This is a good one.
Loved it and laughed a lot.
Dude, I love the idea of the guest plugging the podcast on at the end of the podcast.
I'm sorry, this is who I am.
Yeah. No, Sean Patton did that also. We were like, do you have anything you want to plug? And he was like, you guys.
He didn't retweet it, though.
Sweetest.
He is the sweetest. He didn't retweet it.
You cannot let anything slide.
No, I will never let anything slide.
Oh, man.
Well, so I'm going to tell one more story on Nathan, who I adore and like...
Who I thought was faking being British.
Well, so I love him. I started working there because I think he's very like both brilliant and kind, and I find that to be
ass dude.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Combination that is rare and worth always
amazing
paying attention
writer
to.
too. Yeah. So good.
Especially rare considering how he dresses.
But he. So, okay, so the title of his episode of this podcast is Suck Away, which is from Benjamin talking compliments to him and saying, I'm not trying to suck your dick.
No, I think I was saying, I'm trying to suck your dick.
Oh, yeah.
You said, I'm going to suck your dick for a second.
And then Nathan said, suck away.
Yeah.
And then he said to me privately, like, I can't believe they used that title. And I was like, wow. You really don't know them like that, dude. Like, if I'd been in the room, I would have been like,
part.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the
Suck
title.
away.
Yeah, I think we might have even said that in the room.
I know. I was like, because he was I was like worried he was going to be pretentious. Because first of all, for whatever reason, I had decided in my head that he was American and just affecting a British accent, which is an insane thing.
Mary Devon has never given anyone the benefit of the doubt
In my
entire life. Yeah.
I'm a horrible person.
But like,
But then once I met him, I was like, oh no, you were great.
Yeah.
even Nathan would agree that you judging a like Harvard Yale Brandeis lawyer PhD is like within your rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, this motherfucker.
Like-
and then
Like, if anyone was gonna fake an accent, it's someone with that many credentials.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to be like, oh, you're a snob, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, I was the first one in my family to go to college. And I was like, oh, well, my dad is just the movie Animal House.
Dude.
I am actually still the bad one. Turns out.
You were like, finally.
I only went to LSU, but I'm like a human frat house. So
I feel like you guys invited me on the podcast just because of my laugh. I'm gonna be honest.
no,
All right, your laugh whips ass, but also you have the most amazing radio voice that we've had on the show by a mile. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a very good joke.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
extremely funny.
Honestly, because we all leave enough. I feel like you could replace any of the three of us
no. Kick me off.
for an episode.
Why did you
one
look at
episode?
Oh, no, yeah,
that's what I'm
you're
saying.
a rolling host. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any podcast with any longevity, that has to happen.
Yeah.
It's more important to...
I wasn't
Yeah,
saying
Kate should be-
permanently.
No,
Say,
Kate, you should be
This is my number one credit in the whole fucking world. I have never missed a Dogfish. We started Dogfish in February 2015. Every other member of the team has had the grave misfortune of being sick or going out of town.
Yeah.
But I haven't, and I've been at every fucking one.
Talk about
and
Dogfish. Or did you already do that while I was peeing?
Maybe a little, but Dogfish is amazing. We've hosted it every month.
It's every other Thursday.
No, it's just every month, and it's on a different Thursday. But we put our whole schedule out at the beginning of the year. We schedule like a year out.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are always texting us or emailing us, being like, "Oh, can I come on right now?" And I'm like, "No, we book 6 more or more months out." But
Yeah.
we host people who are either local or national, and it's amazing. It's a room, my friend Jessica's house, and it's usually at least like 50 people.
That house is amazing.
Could be up to 100, which is like
I've
tight.
wanted to go for so long.
I know, and Benjamin can never go.
I work Thursday nights.
Fuck night church.
The next one is going to be really amazing. It's on April 18th, and again, it's the
I don't know who's
New Orleans
on night
Poetry
church,
Festival.
but Paul, I'm not going to that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to my own
But
show.
it'll be really great, and we always have plenty of beer and wine and LaCroix and snacks for everyone.
Yeah.
And I find it really important to be in a place that both doesn't give a shit about capitalism and that actively cares about being anti-racist and actually diverse. Like, I and the other producers care a lot about that and not just being
like lip service bullshit.
the pace that everyone goes through on their book tour. I don't give a shit. Like, we're not really here to sell your books.
Yeah.
We are here to build community
Yeah.
week, like month after month. Like, this is a place where we want people to come, whether or not they know who the feature is. We want them to want to come because they get greeted warmly, they get food and drink, they get to hear something that they like. If they don't like it, like, we have a courtyard. If you just speak quietly, you can go out there
That's
and
cool.
like not like. I am the most socially anxious person in the world, and so to me, this whole thing is the place where like if you feel like shit, you can go be because like I don't want people in their seats more than 45 minutes. Like, I care about how an audience member feels and whether they want to jump out of their skin, and I would like them to feel like they have a little place to go to get away from that.
Yeah, me and Susanna, when we first moved here, we were like desperate for like book people to like hang out with, and we both worked every Thursday. I still work every Thursday night. But I have been to like I think 4 and they always fucking rule. So go to Dogfish if you're in New Orleans.
Thank you. I'm really sorry, and maybe we should talk after this.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna like start taking one Thursday off a month.
We have an organizing 101 workshop happening at New Orleans DSA on April 14th. Yeah. So if you want to organize your workplace to be closed on Thursday, we can help with that.
Yeah. All right, anything else that you want to plug? I think we've been cruising for a minute.
No, yeah. My name is Cate Root. You can find me anywhere on the internet. CateRoot.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Love you, Cate. Bye.
Bye.